Yo guys, it's your boy here, Double H Half, coming at you here for another HHQ&A. So again guys, very simple. To get your question answered by the kid, you head to the website halfoffootballhot.com, you scroll down and you put in your name, your email, and you can ask me whatever question you want. Remember, it's the website halfoffootballhot.com. The link is in the description box below. You scroll down to the contact us section, put in your email, your name, and answer your questions. Normally comes out on Friday. I'm sorry, I know it's a Friday thing, but we approach and we continue. So the first question. This is from Max Akundov. What's up, my brother? With Marco Reus's contract expiring after next season and him giving hints that he may leave, do you think that he will leave Dortmund this summer? I think 40 million would do it. The man lives in a hospital. And who are the teams that should take a chance on him? And do you think he'll accept a secondary role on a winning team? Or should he even consider retirement after all these injuries? Thank you for everything. Keep it up. Thanks for your question. For Marco Reus, and I think I answered a question that's very similar before. Nobody will take a chance on Reus. He's too injury prone and it's not a wise business decision. I fully believe that Dortmund have to keep him. Because I don't think Dortmund will be able to really sell him for anything. Because again, if I'm a club or even I'm a director, I'm not sanctioning or giving money for you to buy a Marco Reus because again, he's just not fit enough. I don't think he should retire. I think something like a Santi Cazorla is a much more pressing situation where you should really think about retirement. I think for Marco Reus, he can still play, but obviously he will not be playing as much. So I think he just has to accept that you will not have had the career you could have had if you had been fully fit. Kavish Birju. Bro, did you see that disgraceful Ballon d'Or listing? Marcelo should be top 10. Modric and Lewis should be top 5. Ramos shouldn't even sniff it. Man, this award is BS. Absolutely disgraceful. Football awards are the most corrupt-ish I've ever seen. Look, just echoing what Bart Simpson said, Lam said that it's a popularity award. I don't care about the Ballon d'Or. It doesn't mean anything. Show me welcome medals. Show me your other winners' medals. And again, I did my Ballon d'Or video. I believe that Modric should have won it. If we're saying who is the best player, not the top goal scorer, who is the best player of the calendar year, it was Luka Modric, who was instrumental in Real Madrid winning the La Liga and then winning the Champions League. It's as simple as that. Have a little sip. Okay. Chris H. Hey HH, I'm a undersized centre back. I'm only 5'10". That's alright, but I don't lack pace or power. What are some things I can do to get better? What are some things I can do to get better, being that I'm late to the game? And who are some players I'll maybe model my game after? Thanks for the question. For me, I believe that your height has nothing to do with it. I believe Cannavaro might have been 5'7" or 5'8". I don't think Cannavaro was 5'10", and Cannavaro is arguably one of the greatest defenders ever that the game has ever seen. So 100%, if I was you, I watch a Franco Baresi and I watch a Fabio Cannavaro and watch how smaller guys can defend. So I think the key things to work on is your jumping speed. So I think you need to go into the gym and work on your thigh muscles, because what you need a high spring, because especially Cannavaro had amazing jumping speed, so amazing jumping ability that was able to really be very good early in the air. But the biggest thing you can do, and you can watch any defender for this, but especially I think especially like a Cannavaro and the De Boer brothers, especially Frank De Boer, positioning. The best defenders don't have to do that much tackling. The best defenders read the game. If you're a great reader of the game and you can anticipate where the attacker is going to run to, you can anticipate where the pass is going to go to, it makes your job far easier. It means you don't need to actually do a lot of the work. Because again, if you read the game very well, you know you can judge the height of the ball, you know where the ball is going to go, so you will always be able to defend. So I think the key thing is read the game. So you watch a Baresi, you watch a Cannavaro, you watch a Frank De Boer, you work on your jumping ability, and you work most definitely on reading the game. Thanks for the question. Alcion. Hello HH. What's your opinion on Ricardo Quaresma? Don't you think he should be playing in a bigger club? His main problem in his 20s was decision making. He often didn't pass when he should and would lose the ball trying to do tricks, and also he was very temperamental, often getting sent off and getting a bad reputation among the big clubs. But now in his 30s, he's a much more mature player and rarely does that kind of mistakes. And I think the only reason with why big clubs don't sign him is because of his age, even though he's probably in his prime right now and one of the best wingers in the world. Thank you and keep up the good work. You should do a video showing Quaresma's skills. Many don't know him. I've been preaching about Quaresma for some time. I think people watch this video will always know that I said that Quaresma was always more talented than Cristiano, but Cristiano was a far harder worker and was much more focused than Quaresma. So Quaresma really has to take it out of the blame as to why he never reached his heights, because you never put in the work, you were never focused enough. He can't go to a bigger club. It's too late. You don't sign a guy of that age. You know. I mean, let's even see how old is this dude now, Ricardo Quaresma. He 34. Nah, I mean, let's be real, right? 34. He's going to be 35 this coming year. Sorry, I mean, it's gonna happen. So I just think, look, for him, I think it's great because people are now really beginning to appreciate him, and he's not being known, especially with how he helped Portugal win the Euros. But I think 100%, you look at this guy. Just go to YouTube, go online, go anywhere. Look at this guy's showreel. It's off the flipping charts. Bobo Google, is your Nigerian name? No, that's not my Nigerian name. Sorry. Okay, so Pierre Richard Michel. Hello, HH. I want to agree on your statement. Mbappe is the best 18-year-old footballer since Pele to perform at this level. No player has done it, and I think he could go ahead of Messi and Cristiano. Forget the goal scoring. The 45, 50, 60 goal seasons, the La Liga of 2010 to 2011, 2012 was so big outside of the Classicals. In those years, every team was worlds apart of the two big clubs, so I don't pay that much attention to the records they set about scoring goals. But Mbappe is coming up as a top prospect who can win the Champions League and the World Cup, and I expect him to take huge responsibilities with PSG and France. Messi at 18 was coming off the bench for Barcelona, and Ronaldo was still an unknown kid at Sporting. Mbappe is a 169 million 18-year-old kid. This guy for me only needs to get a lethal long shot and he should be unstoppable. He might not have the 50 goal seasons Cristiano and Messi did, but the situation is a lot more different at this time. La Liga was complete crap. Yeah, for me, I think Mbappe, he won't get the goals that Cristiano and Messi have scored. I don't think anybody in a lifetime will do. But I think there is a chance that Mbappe can carve his own niche and carve his own legendary status, because it is very exciting what he's doing now. He could decline. He may already reach his peak. But what he's shown so far is this is an exceptional talent who is playing far beyond his years. So I'm just very excited to see what he can do in the future. Ryan. Hi, HH. I'm from Canada. What do you think of the Riyad Mahrez situation? Is there any good club where he could end up, and do you value him? Thank you. Keep up with the grind. Mahrez, I don't value Mahrez personally, because I don't see him as being the Leicester City Premier League winning Mahrez. He's still good. He's just not as good as he once was, and I think he really misses time. I think that time where he initially wanted to leave, when he was still sort of living off the pomp of the Leicester City winning team, is when he should have gone. I say as of right now, I don't think there's any club that would really be right for him, and I don't see him moving to any kind of a big club. Maybe going to France to like a Lyon or a Marseille is a possibility, but I don't think a major club will sign him because he's just not as good as he once was. Okay. Zach Kurtz. Hey HH, coming from Montreal, I've been watching your videos ever since your Liverpool-Sevilla Europa League final preview and haven't missed an upload since. Thank you. I was wondering what your opinion is on Christina calling himself the best player in history. I was also wondering what is your opinion on politics in football. Should the club's fans' political views reflect the club as a whole? Cristiano calling himself the best in history. Look, I think he's just talking because, again, it's bad him doing that because, again, he's going to receive a lot of hate because you're so obviously not. And by doing that shows how insecure you are about people not even putting you on that pedestal. So the best thing to do is shut your mouth and just do your talking on the pitch. And for me, I think for Lazio, Lazio have always had an issue because these are guys who have always sort of been known as super ultras and push their fascist views to try and mesh with the Lazio as a club. And I think it is wrong though, and I've made this mistake of like, no, Lazio are racist. But again, those are just certain sections of people. And that cannot really reflect what that club is about, because I'm sure there are a lot of people in Rome, where Lazio is based, that aren't racist. But for some reason, that has actually been what has defined the club based on what this very loud minority have been able to do. But with regards to politics of football, your politics of your city shouldn't be included in the club. So basically, you bringing out banners to promote hateful things, you should be deducted points and possibly even thrown out of the league. But again, if you're, for instance, you're pro-independence, pro-secession, and you're not doing anything violent, I think that's fine. Because again, people are playing and they can just view the banners if they want to. It is not directly affecting the football. So as long as the football in and of itself is not being affected, there are no players who are receiving hate. It's all fair game, man. Hassem Zahab. Hey, hi HH. Hope you're doing well. Well, the question is, how can we join your Google Hangout that you do every week? Also, do you think Glick is one of the most underrated defenders in Europe? Glick, no. I think Glick is good. I don't think he's underrated. I just think he's good. I do think, Alderweireld is underrated though. Him. And Azpilicueta. And as for the Hangouts, basically what you need to do is that you need to be logged into Google. And every Sunday, I post a link on my Twitter page. So you need to follow me on Twitter to be logged into Google. And you need to tell me your username, because I have to kick out guys I do not know in case they may be trolls. So tell me your username that you log in with Google. You click on the link I put out on Twitter, normally at around 11 p.m. GMT on Sunday or Wednesday if it's a Champions League week, and you click that link and that's how you enter the Hangout. But it's very important that you tell me your username so you don't get kicked out. Pizzoluzzo. What's the main setback actually at Newcastle United? 7 defeats in a row, from 6 weeks to almost relegation. I think they are in the relegation zone in 1 month and a half. In my view, their second lines are nowhere near as good as the first lines. They don't have a violent backup for a decent rotation, and they end up perishing way too much when a couple of key players get injured. Benitez isn't responsible for the recent drop in the table. He might have made some mistakes concerning lineups and substitutions, but he doesn't play a big part in their last poor performances, and I think he's doing a decent job with the squad he has, which is decent enough to survive quite comfortably in the starting 11, but not deep enough to endure a long season. So the management needs to boost the squads, acquiring at least 3 Premier League proven players, strengthening defence, midfield and attack in January, and broadening the players' range of alternatives. Would they break away from this difficult period and survive without being dragged into a relegation scrap, or over struggling the entire length of the league? I think Benitez, I feel he's a very underrated manager and a very underrated coach. And I believe that he is doing the best that he can with what he has. Because again, like Mike Ashley has been a guy who is it. Mike Ashley, he's the owner of Newcastle, and he also owns Sports Direct. And he's been criticized a lot by the Newcastle fans because of he's not willing to dip his hand in his pocket. And Newcastle are one of the biggest clubs in England. They're a huge club, massive club, because Newcastle is one of the biggest cities in England. So, and this is Newcastle that's housed Alan Shearer, David Ginola, Faustino Asprey, some great players in the Premier League. So I do believe that it's you have to spend, because there's only so much Benitez can do with the players that he has, and I think you have to have a deep squad. But beyond the deep squad, you have to have, which is what you're saying, 2 to 3 really standout quality players. And Newcastle don't really have those guys. They may have 1 or 2, but they don't have just 2, 3 real quality players that can really drive you on and really, because those are the players who can win you those games. They can have those 1-0s, those ones that can change the game from a 2-0 down. So you have to dip your hand in your pocket. But Mike Ashley, I believe I was reading something recently where he said that come January, he's willing to give Benitez some money to be able to strengthen the squad, because they need to do that, because as of right now, they're on a slide and they do not want to, from coming back up to going back down in the relegation zone. Pizzoluzzo again. I think that if Dortmund don't sack Bosch, they'll end up getting dragged in a relegation battle like it's happened 3 years ago under Klopp. He's a good coach and his attacking display is brilliant, but he's lost the players who don't listen to his indications anymore. Well, this was done obviously before Bosch was sacked. So Bosch is good, but his tactics don't work with the material he has done, and he's not proven to be able to change the module at all and to find another one that suits the players better. They're in a worrying freefall and plummeting down violently without a parachute. They ain't showing any sort of reaction. They're actually not able to even beat a third-tier team. They haven't won a single match since early October in all competitions, and they've obtained 0 victories in the last 12 matches in Bundesliga and Champions League. The relegation side is just 7-8 points adrift. They'd better not have a wink of sleep if this type of show goes on over and over again. Yeah, look, man, I mean, I cannot argue with your sentiment. So this was written before Bosch was sacked. He has been sacked. The new guy, I think Stoke or something, he actually won in his first game. And look, man, Dortmund are no more. The Dortmund we knew from before that played such sexy football that was loved by all neutrals out there and from football fans, they're no more. I mean, it's finished. As in, I think the final nail in the coffin is when Aubameyang leaves. He will leave. Whether it's January or the summer, Aubameyang will leave. And I think once Aubameyang leaves, that will be the final rest in peace RIP of Dortmund as we knew it. And the owners really have themselves to blame. You did not really build a culture and invest in a club that was able to keep your star players, because we're living in a world where we need success now, and if you don't get success now, you're going to leave. So Dortmund people totally have themselves to blame. Dylan Holmes, hello HH. What are your thoughts on Sean Dyche and Burnley's season so far? They are currently in the top 6 in the Premier League with one of the lowest wage bills in the division. Do you think they could finish in the top 6 and grab the European place, or even do the unthinkable and qualify for the Champions League? They're not qualifying for the Champions League. That's not happening. Top 6 is possible. I don't think they'll get top 6, but it is possible. What Burnley have done is superb. I love this story because this is a footballing story. Sean Dyche, they literally have nobody in their team. Nobody even sniffs world class. Nobody would say is even top 10 or top 20 of one of the best players in the Premier League. But somehow, someway, he's been able to get this team to actually be flirting with top 6, where really they're really doing battle with Arsenal and Tottenham for top 6. It's an amazing story. It's a beautiful story. And people are now looking at Sean Dyche as like, because remember, people always say like the best coaches from Britain are really from Scotland. And England don't really have that many good managers. Although Horton is maybe doing some good stuff with Palace, but he did break it up for England. But what Sean Dyche is doing with Burnley, with literally nobody and one of the lowest wage bills, is outstanding. I just think that 100%, whatever, I mean, if they can finish top 7 or top 8 this season, 100% he has to win Manager of the Year. Because again, it is just amazing how this guy is somehow getting results. Whether it's lucky or not lucky, he's getting results and getting them to be so competitive. So I think it's an amazing story. Okay, that was the same question. James Zimbabwe, hello HH. I do not know if you've been asked this before, but what is your favorite games console of all time? And what is your favorite game from any Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo console in history? My favorite console is the original PlayStation due to its huge library and the nostalgia I have with it. I love this question. Favorite game console of all time? It's got to be the PS2. Even though the best game I've probably played is on the 360, you're asking the best console. Can I think the best console, I believe, is the PlayStation 2, because no console, the only console that rivals it for a game library is the 360. But the PS2 had Metal Gear Solid, MGS2. It had Jack and Daxter, great game. It had GTA 3, GTA Vice City. I mean, it had Legacy of Kain Soul River, one of the most underrated games out there, a game that you should just search and buy, an absolutely amazing game. I mean, it was tops. I mean, that was just like absolutely amazing. So yeah, 100%. Yeah, that was I believe that is the best console that I've ever played, that I've ever had, is the PS2 console. Best game from any console. Now this is tough, and I can't choose one, but it's a toss-up. It is a toss-up between Mass Effect, and GTA Vice City. The GTA model is arguably the greatest game ever made. Just the actual model of GTA, the fact of like the freedom, the sandboxing is mind blowing. But Mass Effect is one of the most innovative games that has ever been played. Let's not talk about Mass Effect 3, but Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2 are two of the craziest games that have just ever been made, because literally the way it makes you feel like as if you're in a science fiction story is outstanding. It is superb. It is bloody amazing. So yeah, GTA 3 changed the game. Like I told you, I remember when I saw GTA 2 being played on the PC, it was the drop-down view, and I said to this guy in school that if they make this 3D, this will change the video game industry. Then GTA 3 came out, and that was a flipping game changer. So yeah, it'll have to be GTA Vice City, because I just love the 80s. That's one of my favorites. One of my favorite decades. So Vice City and the Mass Effect series, not including Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect 1 and Mass Effect 2, but a special mention for Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. Not enough time, but Legend of Zelda Wind Waker special mention, and a special mention for Skyrim. Those are two very special mentions that I've got to have there. Nice question. Manfred Gunza. Hello HH, why do you think Willy Caballero is underrated? He has been a very solid goalkeeper in the past for Malaga and was very good for Man City last season when he played. And I find it confusing that they allowed him to go to Chelsea to be their second choice goalkeeper. He has also never made an appearance for Argentina's senior team or been named in the squad over 3 years, despite being better than what they have. In my opinion, he could easily be starting for another top team such as Liverpool, as I think he's better than Mignolet. What are your thoughts? He's a solid keeper. I don't think he's a definitive number one. And I don't think he's underrated. Although I would agree with you that if it's between him and Romero for the Argentina number one spot, I would definitely choose him. I think Caballero is much more dependable. And I think he has got better saves in him than a Romero. But I don't think he's underrated. I think he's a good keeper, just not great. PQ Disney. Hello HH. Do you think Klopp is the most overrated manager we've seen in the past 10 years? He's viewed by many around the world as a top coach and one of the best in the world. He hasn't won a single piece of silver since the Bundesliga title back in 2012 and has lost many finals since then as well. In my opinion, he's very stubborn, such as refusing to give Sacco a second chance. He was even trying to improve Liverpool's defensive problems ever since he arrived. And I fear that his time at Liverpool will end similar to how it ended in tatters at Dortmund. If your answer is no, who do you think is more overrated than him? I think that he's overrated. Not the most overrated. I think the most overrated has to be Luis Enrique. The players did it, not himself. But Klopp, I do feel he's overrated because as good as he is and as the inventive as he is with his ideas and how his teams attack, let's be real here. He doesn't have a plan B. As I said, he's not won silverware since 2012. And I think he can be very stubborn. And I think the issue with Lovren and Sacco, I think is the killer for me. The fact that you're choosing Lovren, who is a brick, over Sacco, a much better defender, shows that you're very stubborn and you're not really putting the team before your ego. Guys, that's it for part 1 of these questions. Watch for part 2 when it comes out. Remember to get your question answered, just scroll down to the website, put in your email, your name, and ask me any question. It doesn't have to be football related, any question whatsoever, and I shall answer it. Stay true, stay black. Peace out. Thank you for watching this video. Think about pledging and become a Half of Football Hot patron. Pledge an amount each month and gain access to exclusive videos from your boy, the Football Hot, for more analysis. Peace.